an email here, but before I do, I want to say the following. It is my belief, my wholehearted belief, that anybody under the age of 25 who has a baby is a loser, especially guys. But really, it's everybody. You're a loser. There is no reason to have a baby before age 25, and it is not recommended. There is no rush to do it either. And the reason there's no rush to do it is because, first of all, think about this. Life expectancies in the United States are at an all-time high. You do not need to have a baby at 21, 19. And what it says to me when you go out and let your girlfriend or your current squeeze or, God forbid, your wife, because you shouldn't be married before 25 either, when you let that person talk you into having a baby and you do it, what you are saying is the following. I am never going to amount to anything. I am never going to have a good career. The way I am today, this is as good as I'm ever going to get. Ever. That's it. You're a loser. I really believe that people just don't think ahead. And I also believe, as I've said on this show many times before, that you can't see the future. Let me go back to when I was 22 years old for a second. 22. Let me tell you what my life was like when I was 22. I lived with my girlfriend who was 7 years older than I was. I was 22. She was 29. I wanted to be in radio back then, but I had a girlfriend. And my girlfriend wanted me to spend more time around the house, and having not had a lot of success in the radio business, I had a day job. In fact, that's where I met my girlfriend. She was a secretary at my office. Now, she was not a dumb secretary. She was an intelligent woman. She spoke 5 languages. She was from Israel, and she was a former captain in the Israeli army who knew how to fire an Uzi. She was a substantial person of great intellect and was very interesting to talk to. But at 29, she was ready to settle down. And not only was she ready to settle down, her parents, who were well off, they were prepared to help us settle down. Her dad was a consul general. He ran an Israeli consulate. And he made good bucks, you know. He made tax-free income because he was, he had a diplomatic visa. And owned some real estate, had some condos and stuff. He was prepared to buy us a co-op apartment in New York, furnish it completely. All we had to do was agree that when he's in New York, he needs a place to stay. He could stay in our spare bedroom. Which he said if we were going to be living together, that kind of thing was going to be happening anyway. And I faced a dilemma. Because if I took her up on that offer from her father, and I moved into the co-op apartment, we were going to have all kinds of expenses that I hadn't had before. You know, pretty much I had a Section 8 apartment when I was 22. My rent was $287 a month, including utilities. You can imagine this. Section 8, folks. Federally subsidized apartment. If I moved to a condo, I was going to have maintenance on that condo or co-op. I was going to have property taxes, insurance, and all the other expenses that go with living in a co-op or a condominium. And that would mean essentially that I would be sunk deeper and deeper into having to go to work every day, having to make more money, instead of worrying about how I was going to get my career on track. And I would have ended up being, you know, at best, vice president of the little teeny tiny interior design firm I worked for because I was not able at that time to get the radio job I wanted. It was a time in my life where I was making $400 a week, and I was lucky to get it. I really felt good about it. I'm saying, hey, I'm 22, and I'm making $21,000 a year. It's pretty good for 22. I used to say the same thing all these guys would call in say. So here I was. I'm living with my secretary, who's 7 years older than I am. She has a college degree. I don't. I have been bouncing around the fringes of radio for 6 years, writing comedy bits for people, playing characters on other people's radio shows, filling in, doing overnights, doing weekends, working at 2 different stations under 2 different names at one point in time, just so I could stay afloat. And finally, I needed to take a day job because financially it wasn't working. At 22, I really had doubts about whether I would ever become anything in the radio business. I had doubts. And I was this close to saying, you know what, let's take this offer. My God, it's a co-op apartment. Let's go. And had I done that, I wouldn't be standing here with you today. Fortunately for me, somewhere in there, I don't know if it was on her 30th birthday or something like that, I got it together and realized this was the one last chance I had in my life to take a stand and make it. And ultimately, rather than taking her father's advice and moving into the co-op he was going to buy for us, we split up, and I moved to Stanton, Virginia, and made $160 a week instead of the $400 a week I had been making to get a radio job working 6 days a week, 60 hours in the 6 days, just so I could get on the air and start building a career. Had I taken her father's offer, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have done that. But at that time, at 22, I thought, you know what? I'm failing at this. I'll never succeed at this. At best, I thought the most I'd make would be $100,000 a year, and I'd be thrilled to get it. I had no idea that somewhere down the line I would figure it out and I would become a 7-figure income earner and a multimillionaire. I had no idea. Now, fortunately, I never wanted to have children. And so when I was 22, 23, 24, I didn't date women who had doubts about that. Because had I done something like that, or had I screwed up and done it by accident, I also wouldn't be standing here today. Would not. You say I would be, but I'm telling you I wouldn't. And that brings me to the email I'm going to read to you now. From a listener named Jim. By the way, it's a 4-line email. It's very simple. Here it is. Jim writes in and says, I am 21, and my girlfriend tells me that she is on birth control. But she is always talking about how she would love to have a baby with me. She always talks about this vision she has about us being married with kids. She talks about what it will be like if we get married. What should I do? Because I really like her, but I don't want what she wants. Thanks, Jim. Jim, I feel your pain. I understand this situation. I've been in your shoes. And you might not like what I have to say about this, but Jim, I don't care if she says she's on birth control today. These situations generally come to no good. What ends up happening in many of these situations is this. She'll keep telling you what she wants. You'll keep trying to avoid the subject. And ultimately one day she will forget, in quotes. She will forget to take her pill. She'll forget. Conveniently. And because she's telling you she's on birth control, she has you convinced right now not to use a condom. I know that because most guys have no idea if their girl's on birth control if they're using a condom. If you know she's on birth control, that means she told you that. And she told you that so you would not use a condom, or so you'd feel comfortable not using a condom. That is where she wants to get you. To lull you into this false sense of security so you will have sex without a condom. And who knows, maybe she will legitimately forget to take the pill one day. I mean, every woman out there that I've ever known forgets once in a while. Then has to take 2 the next day or whatever. You understand that it is entirely possible that she will come to you one day after you've had sex without a condom and go, "Ooh, I'm sorry, Jim. I didn't mean for it to happen, but I'm pregnant and I'm going to have a baby. It's our baby, the one I've dreamed about, the one I've hoped for." And then you're going to be SOL, pal. At 21, you will have a big rock tied around your neck. You'll have a big anchor tied around your neck, and anything you try to do will be dictated by the needs of this baby that you don't want. The way I see this, when a woman starts telling you how much she wants to have a baby when you're 21 years old, it's time to go. That day. No waiting. Get out today. Start packing. Hopefully you're not living with her, for God's sake. And this is why I tell you boys not to live with your girlfriend, not to have a girlfriend if you can avoid it. This is a major red alert, Jim, and I hope you're paying attention to what I'm telling you now, because I see you were sitting up in the middle of the night writing this email to me. I mean, Jim just sent this email to me 12 hours ago. He just sent it. Jim, are you listening? Get out of there now. Now. Now, I know there are people out there who are going to say, maybe she's just fantasizing about what it'll be like to get married. Maybe he loves her. Maybe he shouldn't break up with her. I don't agree with you. He should get out today. This is a big red alert. It's a big red flag. There's a bugle blowing right now, Jim. It's trying to wake you up. Get out. Am I wrong about this? Gilbert on the Tom Leykis Show.
What's up, Tom?
Not much, Gilbert.
I have to disagree with you, bro, on this one, man, because I had a son when I was 19.
Why did you do that?
Well,
what college were you going to at the time?
I wasn't going to college.
Oh, no college. Why not?
I've been a working man since I was 14.
Why is that?
I like money.
Pal, you make a lot less money over the years if you quit school at 14 and you go to work at some dopey job.
I make good money, man.
How much do you make?
I do construction, man. And so
how much do you make? Not how much do you make per hour. How much do you make? No. How much do you make per year? How much was on your tax return last year?
On my tax? Oh, I don't do taxes, man.
And you don't pay taxes, so you break the law.
I don't pay taxes,
you don't file a return. So you don't have a college degree, you don't have a high school diploma, and you don't file tax returns.
No. Tom,
but you're not a loser. You illegally avoid paying taxes to the IRS.
Well, it's not that, man. I would love to get picked up by a company. You know what I mean?
I don't care what you would love, okay? You quit school at 14. The company's not looking for people who dropped out of the 9th grade.
Okay, well, but, Tom, bottom line is...
But you're not a loser. Let me review. No college degree, no high school diploma, and you don't pay taxes, so you illegally, and in violation of federal law, do not pay taxes to the IRS. But you're not a loser.
No, what makes me a loser, Tom? Huh?
I just gave you 3 examples. I just gave you 3 examples.
Tom, I have a high school diploma. Okay.
No, you have a GED.
No, I have a high school diploma.
You said
I graduated from San Fernando High School.
You said you dropped out of school at 14.
No, I've been working since I was 14.
So you got a high school diploma.
Of course I did.
All right, how much money? And by the way, why don't you file tax returns?
Because I don't work for a company that does taxes. I mean, I can't file my taxes.
It's illegal. It's illegal. Yes. If you don't believe me, why don't we send your name and address down to the Internal Revenue Service, along with your Social Security number, and just check with them.
Nobody likes a rat, Tom. Come on.
Pal, you're a loser.
Okay, Tom, I'm a loser. But still.
Right, and then now, why did you need to have a kid at 19? Believe me, you didn't plan it. You knocked her up by accident because you thought the pull-out method would work. Didn't you?
The pull-out method, Tom, you're so crazy.
Right?
Man.
And why did you have a kid at 19?
Well, you know, I love.
You sat down at 18 and made a plan?
I love my wife, man.
Did you sit down at 18 and make a plan? No.
I did, and it was an unexpected childbirth.
It was unexpected because you didn't use a condom.
Yes.
So, pal, then what would you expect if you don't use birth control? Why would that be unexpected?
Well, She said she was using birth
So,
control.
all right, so now your wife is a liar. She lied to you, and you don't use birth control, and you accidentally knocked a girl up, so you had to marry her because she was pregnant, and you don't go to college, and you don't file tax returns illegally. You're a loser. You're proving my point.
And I smoke weed, Tom.
I'm not going to criticize anybody for smoking weed. But what I am saying is, you asked me what makes you a loser. I just gave you a compelling list of reasons why you're a loser.
Okay, Tom. But
anytime somebody tells me they had a kid under the age of 25, I can tell you why they're a loser. Doesn't take long to figure it out.
Okay, you want me to tell you an example of a loser, Tom? Somebody who's on Section 8 is a loser.
Guess what? I was a loser.
Wow.
Oh, there's no doubt I was a loser. I had to do something and turn it.
Welfare, Tom.
I had to. You're right, and I had to do something to turn it around. You're absolutely right. By the way, I'm no liar. I will tell you further. When I was 18, I had 65 weeks of unemployment. In fact, that went from when I was 18 to when I was 19, because that's more than a year. So believe me, I had long stretches of time when I was a loser, and that's why I know who the losers are.
Oh,
like you, I was one. But unlike you, I turned it around.
Yeah, but you know what, Tom? I mean, I'm a loser. You say I'm a loser. You know what? We have a disagreement, dude, but I love your show, man.
Well, that's good.
I love your show.
Even losers, we need everybody listening.
Everybody listening, making you the money, right, man?
That's right.
I love it. But
Bobby, on the Tom Leykis show.
Hey, Uncle Tom.
How you doing, Bobby?
I'm great. I gotta give props to that guy for at least marrying the girl he knocked up. But at any rate, I'm 28 years old, and I waited until I was 27 to get married. I had my share of broads. I figured it was time to settle down. Whether it was the right decision or not, so far so good. We decided to have a kid.
By the way, but I don't mean to interrupt you, but you just said something that everybody says, and I want to dispel this myth right now. You do not have a time to settle down. You do not ever need to settle down. And when we say settle down, most people mean marry somebody, have a kid, and act responsible. You don't have to do that.
That's what's embedded in society.
But I'm telling you that as embedded as it may be in society, we're going to try to unembed it.
Well, I wasn't privy to your show and your knowledge.
I'm not blaming you, Bobby. I'm making a point for those who haven't gone your route yet.
That's what I tell everybody.
There is no time to settle down. You're not obligated. You know, women are the ones with the biological time clocks. Men can have kids up till 80 years old. Charlie Chaplin impregnated his wife when he was 80. Tony Randall impregnated his wife when he was 77. There is no biological time clock. There is no rush for you to have kids or get married or live with somebody.
Well,
I live alone, and I want to tell you, Bobby, living alone is spectacular.
Well, I can imagine.
You can only imagine. Just imagine if you were living at my home, and instead of spending money on baby clothes and cribs and food, you'd be spending money on the 2 hot tubs I have, or the kegerator, or the wine cellar. You would have a bachelor pad with chicks coming over there. Are you kidding me?
You want them, and when you want them to leave, then they leave.
That's right. That's right. They go when I tell them to go.
Well, I'm not a super rich guy.
Pal, it's not about, you don't have to be super rich. You don't have to have 2 hot tubs. But the fact is, you'd be a lot better off financially if you didn't have a wife to pay for and you didn't have a baby to pay for.
Well, we get by. But the thing
I know you get by. We're not talking about getting by. We're talking about living the high life, pal.
It could be better.
Could be a lot better.
Diapers are expensive.
Right.
And her shopping habit doesn't help either.
Well, another thing you should have worked out before you got married.
I gave her a credit card with her name on it, but it's my credit account.
Yeah, why'd you do that?
I don't know.
All right, say it after me. Because I was stupid. Say it.
Because I was a stupid
That's right. That's exactly right.
But now she's saying she wants another kid. Get that.
Oh, there you go. By the way, a kid is just another credit card for her. You might as well just stamp a magnetic stripe on the kid's back. It's another credit card.
Well, how do I get out of it? I can't leave her. I'm married.
Well, you can.
I don't want to.
You could get a vasectomy without telling her.
That's the option I was going to ask you about.
You can do that.
Should I do that?
Can you or should you?
Should I do that? I'm positive I don't want any other kids. I'm 28, you know.
Well, it's just like they say to women all the time. You know, it's your body.
Well,
tell you what, if she wanted to have an abortion, she wouldn't even have to tell you.
Yeah, but you know what she says when I tell her I don't want kids? She says, "Well, I'm having another kid with you or with somebody else."
Well, then I think you got your answer there. It's time to go.
Maybe I should call her bluff.
Yeah, call her bluff. The longer you stay with her, the more vagina money you'll have to pay.
I got one kid. I can, bide my time. He'll be 18 sooner than 2 kids.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Well, if I were you... Well, hang on a second. Doug, what did you want to say to Bobby here?
Yeah, I don't think Bobby's got a clue here. He has no idea the damage that he's potentially doing to himself by allowing his wife to have access to his credit. It's suicide. I mean, I made that stupid mistake, and I got destroyed, ruined, in fact. He's got to just pull his head out and see the potential for the future. These women, they are vindictive and mean, and especially if you're the one that leaves them. Oh, my God, you've got problems, big problems.
The credit's in my name, and I can cancel her card at any time I want to. I got control.
Yeah, but what happens when you do it?
When you cancel it?
No, I'm asking Bobby. What happens when you do it? Bobby won't do it. And when you do, what happens?
Well, she cuts me off, huh?
Well, not only that, screams and yells and complains and makes your life a living hell.
Bobby's whipped. He has no idea what she can do to him before he even leaves her. I mean, she has no idea. My ex planned for years and siphoned money away before she closed my accounts. I mean, you've got to cover your ass no matter what. And you just can't trust anybody. I mean, love them or not, you just can't have total trust to where they can be so devastating to you if anything goes wrong.
Bobby, pay attention to this, for God's sake. We're talking about an email we got from a listener named Jeff. Says he's 21. His girlfriend says she's on birth control, but he can't stop talking about how much she'd love to have a baby with him. Jim, get out, get out, get out. Kim, hello.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Kim.
Hello. Listen, we got to help this kid, seriously. I want him to listen from a chick's side of things, please. I hope he's listening.
Yeah.
If a woman says she's on birth control, she's lying. Like you said, could be an accident, couldn't be on purpose. Because the other thing is she's going to start picking up on him being a little freaked out. And guess what chicks do when they feel like you're slipping away? They forget that pill.
That's right. Forget in quotes.
Yeah, in quotes. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of vaginas calling up because I'm betraying the sisterhood, but I've seen it played out over and over again. Ex-boyfriends of mine that have happened to, friends of mine, and that's what it is. And actually, I think you're too generous saying 25. I say 30. No one has any business popping out a kid before 30.
Yeah. Yeah, well, believe me, for my taste, I have no interest in having any children, but what's the rush, folks?
I know. I have none. I'm very proud to say I have none. Very, very super pro-choice. God bless America, we have the choice. I've exercised my freedom of choice a couple of times because of a broken condom. And he needs to go. Yeah. I mean, listen, Jeff, get out now.
Yeah.
Because she will pick up on you being freaked out, and her saying she's fantasizing or sees you with, having the baby and whatnot.
You'd make such a good dad.
No, she's setting him up for it. He's heading straight for that baby maternity ward right now.
The minute I get that comment from a woman, you'd make a great dad. Even when they say they don't want to have kids, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
Out!
That's chick code. Yeah. That is chick code. I mean, the thing with females, you got to listen to what we don't say.
Yeah, and also look out for women who pay close attention to the way you are with animals.
Oh, yeah.
Like if she has a cat or a dog and the cat or dog likes you and sits in your lap and you're petting the animal or whatever, or her hamster or whatever, look how much he likes you. You're like his daddy.
Exactly. So, Jeff, please, I'm telling you, you have to look at what she is not saying.
Right.
And she's saying it all. Get out. You're 21.
Absolutely. Albert on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
Man, your speech just kind of like described the last 2 years of my life. I was with this girl for 2 years, and around a year and a half, she just started telling me, like, how great of a father I'll be. You know, she said she was on the pill. You know, started having sex without condoms and stuff like that. Luckily, she never got pregnant. Apparently, she was actually on the pill. And I started listening. She wanted to move in. Started listening to your show like a couple months ago, and I was like, no, we're not gonna live with each other.
And how did she react to that?
Oh man, she was pissed off. That was like her biggest argument. Whenever we had an argument, which was like every week, you know. And then I thought we were patching things up. I got her a dog, and wow, you get a girl an animal, and you see how fast the sex stops too.
Well, because it's almost like she had a baby.
Yeah, and then, you know, she's calling me daddy, like, with the little dog, like, if I'm like wanting kids. Yeah. I told her I didn't want kids, and she kept on telling me how much she wanted in the future, how much she could see me as a husband, and, you know, having kids, and that's what she wants, our kids. And I was like,
that's when it's time to go, boys. That day.
Yeah, and I finally got the balls, and I left her like 2.5 weeks ago.
How did she react when you dumped her?
Stormed out of the room crying, of course, and then, you know, started talking smack behind my back and all that, you know, because whatever, like, she didn't want to, like, she never supported anything. Like, you're right, you know, a woman, you know, will crush your dreams really fast. You know, I wanted to do research. You know, I'm finish up my degree in college right now. You know, and I wanted to do research, and she's all like, well, you think I'm going to be fine with you leaving for like 2 or 3 months at a time? I'm all, well, you could be fine with it or not. I'm going to
Women are dream killers.
Yeah. And don't I know it now.
And now how much better is your life now that you dumped her?
Man, I'm partying every night, and, man, I've been having women that apparently, you know, I didn't know I could get.
Mm-hmm.
So my life is good right now.
So you're getting more ass than a toilet seat.
You damn straight, Tom.
Lisa, on the Tom Leykis show. Hello.
Tom.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. That guy needs to stay single and happy. There is nothing worse to get sucked into a marriage when you get knocked up and then you're miserable because the guy you're laying next to has no interest in you, you have no interest in him, and it is all downhill. Marriage blows. Trust me. It blows. I love this show. I'm going to tell you something. I love this show. I listen to it every single evening, and I am full on for the woman thing. Sure, go bake cookies, have yourself a good old time, but I ended up getting knocked up on birth control, actually made the appointment for the abortion, got talked out of it by he and his family, and I am now, years later, miserable. Mm-hmm. Miserable. Sex stops. All together. Sex stops. So forget sex. If you want to get married, you must hate sex.
That's right.
You must hate sex. If you want to get married, you must absolutely hate sex because you ain't going to have it anymore. Trust me. It's out the door. And then you're stuck. And then you're in my position. But if you're in my position, I make more than twice. I make about $95,000 a year. I make more than twice as much as my husband. I know the only reason he's with me is because then we have this financial nightmare that we have to worry about. And then I have the absolute ultimate disaster idea of having to possibly pay alimony myself. Oh, holy cow. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Miserable. Don't do it, boy. Don't do it. Stay happy.
Thank you, Lisa.
And let me tell you something, one more thing.
What's that?
If she's saying she's on birth control and you start to get wiggly, that last girl's absolutely right. She's going to get pregnant. You're going to be a daddy, and it's all over.
Absolutely. It's Sean. Hello. Sean.
Yes, how are you? How you doing?
Doing okay. You sleep over there?
What's that? No, you were breaking up, sorry.
Oh, okay.
So here's my dilemma. I just moved out here from Chicago to L.A., and I was dating this girl, and all of a sudden she got pregnant. And
probably right after she found out you were leaving town.
Well, she was pregnant before that, but she tells me basically it's either me or another guy who got her pregnant. So, I don't know what to do.
Nothing you can do except demand a DNA test when the kid is born.
So what, I just got to wait till the kid's born?
What can you do?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, you could try the Hail Mary on her.
What is that?
The Hail Mary is when you try to get her to have an abortion. Have you tried that yet, by the way?
Yeah, well, by the time she found out she was pregnant, she was 4.5 months already.
By the time she told you she was pregnant, she was 4.5.
Exactly.
She knew she was pregnant long before she told you.
So, I mean, I'm kind of in a pickle, though.
No, well, there's nothing you can do except, do not pay any child support until you see a DNA test with your name on it.
So how do I clear my name?
You do it with an attorney.
Okay.
And the attorney knows how to demand a DNA test. Now, I would first consult with an attorney and ask him specifically how to do this. It's my belief that what the attorney does is he'll wait until you're contacted, or he may be proactive and try to find out once the kid is born if there's any plan for her to try to get child support, and then you can demand a DNA test.
Okay.
But that's between you and the attorney, and I would recommend finding an attorney now before she has the kid. So that you have a consultation, so you're prepared.
Gotcha. So you think it was, she found out I'm leaving town and decides to spin a little story on me.
Could be, or who knows what.
Yeah. All right.
But don't be sending her any money.
Absolutely.
At all. Until your attorney tells you to do it.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Well,